Good morning. It's Thursday, 24th October 2024. This is Vijay here. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary, where we discuss what happened yesterday and what may happen today. So, people who participated yesterday would have known it is one of those really times. Markets were jittery. There was, buying, selling bouts. Initially, it went down, then went up, and then, created a sense of quiet, and then it fell off at the end. So this is not unusual for a market which has been beaten down in the last few sessions, especially on Tuesday. So one would have expected that kind of volatility. But what came about yesterday and what can happen today, we will discuss a little later. But just for the statistics, ends little unchanged after a volatile session, which means it's like a goalless draw, but it was an exciting game. Mid-cap index outperforms expectedly so because it was a very big loser on the previous day. Sensex fell about 140 points, mid-cap gained about 300 points, and Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv came to the rescue of the market. They were generally not recognized by the market for actually years, I would say, and I think they have done very well yesterday. IT stocks did extraordinarily well yesterday, and then you had mid-cap IT. This is Coforge and Persistent. The way the body language of the senior management showed that they are ready for a big fight and the fight to win. Then you had Canfin Homes did well, First Source did well, SRF came back very strongly. It is a bellwether for agrochemicals and chemical sector, and that was very heartening. Manapuram did well. TVS Motor, one of the most highly overvalued shares, especially in the two-wheeler, I think took a big knock because it did not meet expectations. BHEL, in my opinion, BHEL should be in double digits. It's still trading at around 240, 230. I think sooner or later it will go there, but that also fell down significantly. Syngene Industries did not show any great results, so it just came down slightly. Syngene is associated with Biocon, so we may have a issue with Biocon also. But of course, Biocon has got much more than that. Market breadth favored advances, even though the mainline indices fell, while the a broader market was in a better shape. So it was 3:2. What did FIs and DIs do? Did FIs and DIs did what they do every day. FIs continue to sell. DIs matched and more than matched their selling for the second consecutive day in a row. So this was 6,040 buying by DIs and FIs sold 5,685. Global equities, really churned significantly. The US market at one point of time really was thinking whether it will go into a crash mode, but it recovered in the last 1 hour, and still it had losses of about 1% for Dow, which is S&P was also close to 1%, and Nasdaq was the biggest loser at 1.5%. FTSE, DAX, and the European markets did were relatively better, but they also had their jitters. So globally, yesterday was a jittery market, right from Asia to Europe and to India and to US. So the mood is a little bit subdued globally also. We are having our own set of problems. Beginning, it's been nearly a month when we have had set of problems. We had the FIs running off to China, supposedly. And then we had a large public issue, IPO came from Hyundai and did not, list well. Then you had some issues with Bajaj Auto because of some statements, misstatements, and then you had poor results by and large in this quarter. It was expected to be poor, but when it actually hits you, then you feel that you should not buy those shares. So we are coming back to commodities. Brent is flat, WTI is flat. Gold went and made a new high, but it bounced back. Sorry, it reacted. Same thing with silver, reacted very violently, which was expected. Silver will react always more violently than gold. So gold in the morning, this morning is up from where it left off yesterday, and silver too is up, but silver had gone up to 35. Now it's about 33.81. So it was a 3% fall. The others, copper fell, zinc and aluminum did nothing big. So today is a big results day. ITC is there, NTPC is there, and IndusInd Bank results are there. So yesterday HUL results came. They were very what they call thanda. So we don't know how markets will react, but HUL has been on a downtrend for quite some time. Similarly, ITC also has been on a downtrend. So we don't know how markets will react. I think ITC results come after the market. NTPC should come during the markets. And IndusInd Bank has been beaten black and blue for the last few sessions. It's, I think, near at 52-week low. It's one of the cheaper stocks in terms of performance metrics among the large private sector banks. But it doesn't have so much of a following. So we don't know how IndusInd Bank's results will be taken. Today, many other results are coming. ACC is there, United Breweries is there. Then you have Laurus Labs. Laurus Labs will be watched by a lot of people because Laurus continues to report poor results, but it continues to perform better on the bourses. So we don't know how it will report this time. Then you have Colgate Palmolive, again another FMCG. You have Mahanagar Gas. You have DCB Bank. DLF is something which will be watched because that is a bellwether stock for real estate. Then you have PNB Housing, Canfin Homes. Results were good. So Canfin Homes did well yesterday. So hopefully PNB Housing also will come up with good results. CSB Bank is a small one, but significant one among small banks. Dixon is one very popular momentum stock. We have to see what it does. Then good news for these Reliance and ONGC and such stocks, oil and gas sector. They're removing windfall tax. It looks like that, and they will scrap it. So RBI MPC minutes came, and they painted a good picture, which I am at. I think it's at variance with what's happening on the ground. In fact, some of the RBI MPC members were apprehensive that holding interest rates tight will scuttle growth. I think that is what is happening. I think RBI has to take his head from the ground. They're not seeing the reality. The reality is seeing in the FMCG results. Reality you're seeing in infrastructure results. But I don't know when RBI will decide to move in and reduce interest rates. Most people are complaining that interest rates will mean that depositors will suffer. But people just look at through the narrow prism of depositors. Depositors have got options, but a person who has taken a loan on EMI for even the retail level in terms of the same depositor must have taken a loan on a EMI. So if he wins in one, he loses in some. But let's take a small and medium entrepreneur who has no access to capital markets or to outside funding. He has to bear the brunt of high interest rates, and high interest rates are a significant headwind for the entrepreneurs. So I think if you look at a bigger picture, in my opinion, interest rate should be slashed 50 basis points, which Bank of Canada did yesterday. Bank of Canada reduced interest rates by 50 basis points. US has done it by 50 basis points. China has done it. Every single central banker is looking at growth rather than inflation. This inflation, you cannot reduce food inflation by increasing interest rates, which RBI should rethink. It's simple common sense, but as they say, common sense is not commonly found. So will this jitters continue? It may continue, but should we worry? I feel it's only a passing phase. It's just a of time before things come. Before the good things happen. I'm very positive, hopeful, and bullish based on past experience, where 80% of the time the market rallies between Deepavali and Pongal. Sometimes it stops in December, like what it did in December 2022, but you will see a significant rally before that. We saw a significant rally before that in 2022. So how big is the rally? I don't know, or whether we will go into the 20% of the time when there was no rally. That also can happen. But I am on the side of the majority, which is 80% of the time, or 75 to 80% of the time, when the markets have gone up between Deepavali and Pongal. This I'm talking of about 24-year data. If you look at last 8 years, in fact, if you take Deepavali to Pongal, including 22-23, the Nifty has been higher on Pongal day vis-a-vis the Deepavali day. Though the market topped out in December, around in the first week of December at that point of time. So net, I am going positive as usual. I look for bargains. You can easily sell also in this market. You can do both BTFD and SOS. I can't do both, so I'm only planning to do the buy today for Deepavali. So, whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.